What's going on, guys? Welcome to We Are Game Critics. We are here at PAX East 2020, and I'm here with Verta, Maloney, and Heather Oiuda, and they want to talk to us and let you guys know what's going on with gamers, because I think it's pretty interesting. So where did this come from? Like, what sparked this idea? And what is this idea?
So, great question. Our background as women, we have 4 co-founders, is in community building. We built a community for moms, grassroots, back in 2006, not to age myself. Actually, and I have a senior and he's graduating and we're both super emotional about it, but anyway, I digress. All the feels. So that's really our jam, and that's what we love doing, is bringing women together. We built that, we launched it nationally, we sold it to a media company in 2016, and we found ourselves the past 2 years designing toys for a man named Al Khan. Al was the creator of Pokemon and Cabbage Patch and Donkey Kong, all this cool stuff, every 80s memory you have, he had some part of. And we were tasked with the super cool job of traveling the country and looking for disruptive technology to be used in the toy space. While on that journey, we found ourselves in the gaming space, in the toy gaming space. And when we were there, we started noticing that there wasn't as many women as we thought, not at a PAX like this, but in roles of leadership and decision making. So we found ourselves in September at a conference that was led by Goldman Sachs. And we were some of the only women in the whole conference, a sea of white men. And as we were kind of thinking this and looking at each other, digesting this, an amazing man named Niles Heron, who's the co-founder of Pop Dog, came on the stage, and before he kind of did his talk, he said, "Hey guys, are we gonna do this again? Are we gonna have another billion-dollar industry run by white men?" And we almost stood up like, "No, we're not." So that was kind of the aha moment. And from there, we've been talking to women gamers from around the world and kind of flushed out the idea, which I know you can speak on, like what the GameHERS is.
Having conversations, one thing about the community that we're building is not that we are saying this is what community is. We are talking to gamers. I like to say that I'm gamer adjacent. I'm not a gamer, I'm just really upfront. It dabbled here and there with some games. Kids are gamers, so I'm gamer adjacent. So we're not here to say this is what community should be. So we've been talking and trying to figure out, what do you want? Like, what is it like to be a woman, to be trans, to be non-binary in this space? Do you feel like you belong? Do you feel safe? And there's a lot of spaces where women don't feel safe. And they are saying, like, we don't want to necessarily feel that we have to focus on that, but how do we uplift the voices, our voices, in all the spaces? So not just as gamers, which actually, about 40 to 50% of all gamers are actually what? Women. So already we're there, but where is it as executives in a business and as people thinking about growing that? How do we get more women into those leadership spaces, making the money, designing the games, doing all of the things in technology? So creating a community online as well as in person. We have some ideas for an app. We're launching our website next week on Monday. And a blog where we are centering voices that are not always heard in this space. And I was saying, like, we're here at PAX. I went to the bathroom and there was no line. Now, women, we know that wherever we go, there is a line for the bathroom, and there was a line for the men's bathroom. We are like literally half the earth. There should be like just equally us here in this space. So that's a little bit of kind of the why, and wanting to work with the community to decide what it is that we're gonna do.
Dropping life hacks. I know where I'll be using the bathroom. There's always a line. It's ridiculous. One of the things that stood out to me on you guys is that I read was something about, the treatment of women in this, because honestly, I'm gonna be fair to say I'm not really a huge gamer myself, but most of the gamers that I know are women. Most of the women that I know read comics. I hang with a lot of guys, and a lot of the guys that I know are on the other side of things, doing media and things of that nature. We're not really the customer, but all the females that I know are really into this culture. But you guys were mentioning about the treatment and the abuse and the things, and I found that very intriguing because I didn't know about that. What do you guys have to say about?
So when we were interviewing women from around the world as we were fleshing this idea out, one of the things that most of them mentioned was playing their character as in the game as a man, because they don't want to deal. So they've all experienced some level of either sexism or downright hatred that they're a woman in the space. And they all have their own ways of managing and feeling like they can somewhat thrive in the space, whether it be playing as a man. Some of them are conscious if there's any voice, if people can hear their voices in it. Sometimes they mask their voice. So it's a problem. It's a really big problem. But as Verta said, what they wanted was a space to celebrate women in gaming and to talk about how gaming has enhanced and helped their life, and they want to find ways to uplift each other. And kind of circling back to your question, their thought process being, if we do that, then I think all the not nice stuff going on in the gaming world maybe won't be as prevalent, because there's like one common voice of celebration.
I want to add to that, as the mom of a son, we're moms of sons, also realizing that it is when systems marginalize people, it's not on the people that are marginalized to have to fix it. And so we actually say that anyone, regardless of your gender, if you're down with this cause, then we want you here. And that includes, obviously, men, right? And how is it that men are standing up in those spaces and kind of just standing next to us, right? Like together to make sure that this happens. And makes me think about raising children, raising a son who will also, like, if he's in a game and something's going down, he's gonna be like, that's not cool, dude. Like, no, don't say that. So just really thinking about that too. And we have like a lot of ideas long-term and partnerships around that as well. And thinking about ways to partner to ensure that the future is not our present.
And we're huge supporters of that. We're huge advocates against bullying as well. I'm working with other people we're doing a lot with anti-bullying programs. Respect the Hustle is one of the companies that I work with. And you mentioned future. So what is the future of gamers? Where would you guys like to see it next year, 2 years, maybe 5 years?
So that's a great question. So year one, we're focusing on content. So for us, we've always, how we build businesses is we always feel like we're the least important people in a company. So we're trying to step back and let the voices of the women rise to the surface. So for us, content-wise, we have a bunch of blogs coming out written by incredibly fabulous, interesting women, sharing stories about how they've used gaming to help them through some traumas in their life, quite frankly. And I have their permission to share this. So we have a woman that is the victim of rape and assault, and she used gaming as a way to find her power. We have a black trans gamer that it talks about using gaming as a way. She found her like safe space as a child. We have an autistic woman who talks about playing D&D helped her learn the social skills to help her in real life. So content rich that way. We have two podcasts. The first podcast comes out in 2 weeks, hosted by Kylie Vernoff, who plays Susan Grimshaw in Red Dead. We're super excited about Kylie being the host for two reasons. First of all, she's an amazing human being and incredibly talented. The second reason is because her character in Red Dead, anyone who plays Red Dead, Susan Grimshaw is not a sexualized, traditional, but yet she's a total badass. And we've had men and women come up to us through this whole PAX talk about her character. So that felt really true to us. And in the podcast, we interview amazing people in the industry. We kick off with Jen Cohn, who plays Farah in Overwatch. We have Rob Weedoff, who plays John Marston in Red Dead. We have Trevor Phillips, we have Stephen Ogg, who plays Trevor Phillips. We have Michelle Hurd, who's in Star Trek Picard. Like, just awesome people talking about the industry, talking about life, careers, culture, but also all the stuff we're talking about here, how we can all be, we call them upstanders, how we can all be upstanders in the gaming industry.
Anything to add to that?
No, I think listen. Also, Kylie's voice is like mad smooth, and it's like really good to listen to. Yeah. Like, do your ears a favor.
Will she be hosting all of the episodes, or will it be like a variation of?
So the first podcast is she hosts all of them. It's called Let's Play by the Gamers. That comes out in 2 weeks, and then I can't give it all away. It's a little sneak peek, but Verta also has a podcast that she'll be working on, more community driven, which will flush out more, but is going to be amazing.
You guys are involved in that as well, or? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that will be Verta. Verta will be the host and producer.
So you guys are really all about building communities. I love that, and that's why CritiX is here because we are in the same boat. I like this. I like to thank you ladies for taking the time to talk to us and educating us because it's really a cool thing. It's really a cool thing.
The merch is fire.
By the way, proceed of all the merch goes to an organization called I Thrive. Okay, a portion of the proceeds from our merch goes to an organization, a not-for-profit called I Thrive. They use gaming to help the social, emotional development of kids.
Awesome. You guys see it here. Where can they find GameHERS and find out more information or maybe join the cause or help out?
www.thegamers, that's GAMEHERS.com.
Cool name, too. Who came up with that? Like that whole spin?
I did, and it was after a lot of martinis, like a lot of dirty martinis. No, to the point where I woke up, I sat up in bed, I had my retainer on still, and I went to the computer with my retainer. I went to GoDaddy, and I'm like, and it was available. That's it.
Yeah, you say you're obsessed with the domain names. So.
I am. You're likely buying them from Heather. If you are looking for one that you want, it's usually Heather.
All right, so guys, again, we are Game Critics, and again, it was wonderful talking to you ladies. If you guys want to find out more, go to gamers.com, was it? The Gamers.
Thank you so much.
I'm Clep. We are Critics. We out.